Hey fourth graders, it's Mrs. Ramsey, and I'm here to teach you how to do a perplexer, which is just like the logic problems that Mrs. Altier had taught you before. They just look a little different. They just don't have grids. There is columns and rows instead. Still has a story, and it still has clues to help you solve. So the story is Oscar, Ollie, and Olivia were three owls who enjoyed competing with each other in various contests. One day they competed to see who could make the most hoots in a minute. They hooted 80, 46, and 34 hoots in a minute. After regaining their breath, they decided to see how many mice each could catch in an hour. They caught 61, 34, and 27 mice in an hour. During these contests, the owls wore different colored hats. Their hats were red, green, and blue. Based on the clues, match the owls with their hoots, their mice victims, and their hat colors. So my first clue is the owl in the red hat caught fewer mice than the owl in the green hat, but more than the owl in the blue hat. So for me to make sense of this, I'm going to write down mice because this is what we're referring to. And then I'm going to put them in order of the clue. So the owl in the red hat caught fewer mice than the owl in the green. So green more than red. And then it also says red caught more than the owl in the blue hat. So blue is going to be last when it comes to the number of mice caught. And I can see that the highest number of mice caught is 61. The middle is 34. And the least is 27. Okay, let's move to number 2. Oscar made fewer hoots. Okay, so now we're referring to hoots, so I'm going to write down hoots. And Oscar made fewer than the owl who wore the green hat. So green is going to come first. Oscar will come somewhere after. It says, but more than Olivia who never wore green. So Oscar comes before Olivia. And Olivia doesn't wear green. So I'm going to go ahead up here and cross out green. And now I know the order of the hoots. So my greatest hoot was 80, middle hoot 46, and least number of hoots 34. All right, let's look at clue 2 again. It said Oscar made fewer hoots than the owl in the green. So Oscar made fewer than the owl in the green, but more than Olivia who never wore green. So I think that's as far as we can go with 2. So let's look at number 3. The owl in the red hat who was not Oscar. So Oscar is not red. Did not hoot the most. Okay, so I think this is going to help me if I go back to clue number 2. It says Oscar made fewer hoots than the owl in the green hat. So Oscar can't be green. So if I get rid of green and Oscar, Oscar can only be blue hat. And since both greens are crossed out on Oscar and Olivia, that means that Ollie has to be the green hat. So he gets rid of blue hat, red hat, and since we already know that Oscar is blue, we cross out blue for Olivia, and that makes Olivia the red hat. All right, now that we know the colors of the hats, we can fill in the mice and the hoots. So we can see that green had caught 61 mice, so I'm going to circle 61, and they had 80 hoots, and that's Ollie. So I'm going to get rid of the rest of the information, cross it out. And then I can see that red, let's see, who is red? Olivia. Olivia was the red hat, and we can see that the red had 34 mice. So let's circle 34 mice. And Olivia had also 34 hoots according to our information. So we can get rid of these. And now that I know Ollie and Olivia, I can now figure out that Oscar, who wore the blue hat, is 46 hoots, but since he wore the blue hat, he had 27 mice. So circle 27 mice. And there we go. I can see that Oscar had 46 hoots, 27 mice. Ollie had 80 hoots and 61 mice. And then Olivia had the 34 hoots and the 34 mice. And there you go. We've finished the perplexer.